Hello, and today we'll continue with Violet Memoir. And we're going to continue with Oscar. I think I'll go with Oscar. Getting some exercise might do me some good. At least taking a shower there might clear my mind. Hell yeah, trust me, you'll have a great time. Oscar Stilson, that's all the warning I get before his tail wraps around me. Sweeping me against his side, his face softly smacks against his chest with a barely audible thud. That's one for the pool party. Any other takers? Lucas and Lee both stare at the altar. A look of skepticism across both of their faces leads the first one to break his silence, shaking his head in disbelief. I gotta pick up my sister. Just make sure you take care of Wallace, alright? He seems to trust you a lot. Lee begins to walk past us but stops next to me. The concern in his eyes as he looks down is probable. You sure doing okay? I'm feeling better, and Oscar seems like a fun time. Better to get my mind off things, right? He doesn't look too convinced, but he eventually nods. He looks reluctant, but I think he trusts my judgment. He turns away, giving one final remark as he walks towards the stairs. If you need me, just call. I'll be fine. Oscar isn't that bad. I can hear you two, you know. Oscar lays a hand on my shoulder and pulls me tighter against him. The playful hug is nearly smothering me. The offended tone in his voice isn't showing on his face at all, looking amused instead. Stopping at the first step, Lee just looks back one final time. I think he's going to lecture us some more, but he just sighs and heads up the stairs, a hint of a smile on his lips. I feel a light tickling sensation on my cheek, and I turn my head to find Oscar leaning down to my height, his gaze lingering at where Lee had just been standing. I'm not asking that bad, right? You tell me if I made you uncomfortable, right? He whispers under his breath, but I catch Lucas's ears flicking regardless. Subtlety isn't Oscar's forte, but I think that's part of why I find him so endearing. I'm reminded of my conversation with Oscar in class and how safe he made me feel that moment. Yeah, I will. Lee's is worried. I don't think he dislikes you that much. Probably. He seems like the type to get worried too much. Probably hasn't gotten laid in ages. He gives a light chuckle, and the mood's lightening again. Oscar really is good at doing that. Even Lucas looks more relaxed at that comment. It's like a superpower. The infectious mood is too strong to resist, and I find myself laughing alongside him at absolutely nothing. Lucas looks incredulous, but he stays quiet. That makes him bust out one of his signature grins before pulling me into a hug, lifting me directly off the ground. He does it so effortlessly that I can't tell if I'm light or if Oscar's just whelped enough that it doesn't matter. That's what I like to hear. Okay, let's get ready for pull time. Like it didn't even happen, he puts me on the ground with surprising delicacy. As soon as he makes sure I'm secure, he rolls around to Lucas, making the poor guy jump. What about you? Want to make it a threesome? Lucas looks like he's about to fall over. Utter disbelief is smeared across both our faces. He sputters for a few seconds before finally forming a coherent sentence. What? A threesome? I knew you were brazen, but I didn't think you were that bold. The cross fox looks like he's about to overheat, a darker shade of blush peeking through the dark fur on his cheeks and ears. The awkward discomfort he's radiating causes Oscar to lift up a hand to soothe him. Whoa, calm down there, buddy. I was kidding. It's a figure of speech. Sorry. Oh, really sorry. I'm not really good with those. That's okay, man. Plus, I feel like if I was going to have a threesome with two virgins, I want Wallace here to have a better day. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a bit surprised. I always thought you were some guy who fucked anything that moved. I'm left gaping at the two of them. I know Lucas has a habit of saying stuff like this, but he's never been this sincere about it. But you're a lot better than I thought. I'm mysteriously sorry. It's so overwhelmingly formal, but I can tell from the way the fox is shuffling back and forth on his feet that he's nervous. It's endearing, and from the gentle smile on Oscar's face, I think he, I think he thinks so as well. Don't swear about it, man. I don't mind. So you're gonna join us? You look cute in swim trunks. Lucas's ears go red once again, but this time he looks to be trying to contain his reaction, put his usual resting bitch face back on. I got to study in the library. I need to make sure I'm up on my classes. Plus, I wouldn't want to intrude. Looks like your attention is focused on Wallace, and I wouldn't want to overstep. Before either of us can respond to that, Lucas seems to be walking towards and up the stairs. He doesn't give a chance for either of us to react until he stops and looks back. I'll check in on you later, Wallace, okay? Sure. But I'm not able to reply before he vanishes up the stairs. What an enigma. Kind words in that snapper's tone. I don't think he was upset but more embarrassed. He definitely doesn't do well with compliments, but he didn't look as uncomfortable as before. I wonder if Oscar's growing on him. Damn, guess that leaves us. I expected that to sound flirty, but he sounds genuinely disappointed. He's staring up at the stairs with a long expression, something I'm not used to seeing. Like he really did want to spend time as a group. It's not a sad sight. Oscar's energy rarely allows for that, but it's a bittersweet sight. There's always another day, right? We don't have to just hang out today. Yeah, I always got tomorrow. Bouncing around on his paws, I'm almost lurched against him as his tail drags me along. His unending supply of energy is bursting out of every muscle on his body like a supercharged battery. Now it's time we head out. You okay to walk? Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Sure? I can carry you on my shoulder if you want. I bet you've never seen things from this height. He gives me a wink, and it's obvious he's joking, but I can't help but wonder what things look like from that height. I've always been shorter than my peers. It's refreshing to have Lucas and Lily around my height. Sure, people would probably think I'm your kid or something. There's a moment of laughter between us, and the warmth that Oscar radiates returns. A supernova wouldn't be as bright as him. It's like the mood itself bends to suit him. So, let's go. Without a moment's hesitation, he grabs my wrist and pulls me towards the stairs. After I fumble up the first couple of steps, much to Oscar's amusement, we race the rest of the way towards the exit. Want to make it a threesome? You thought that would go down well? I'm teasing, but the bewilderment in my voice is genuine. There's no way he thought that was going to end well. Walking down the veranda alongside the campus courtyard, there's plenty of students flowing between classes just hanging around campus, but the veranda itself is relatively quiet. Well, yeah, I was clearly joking. Anyone would have caught that. I'm not so sure about that. Hey, you calling me a flirt? A glance at Oscar confirms to me that he isn't being serious, but the question still lingers and brings back many questions of my own. I didn't get the chance to ask Oscar if he's being serious or not. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to get upset at anything, so there's no harm in asking him, right? Hey, yeah? Something about the way I asked that must have come across as odd because his usually carefully expressed is a bit contained, and his movement isn't as eccentric and bouncy as it had been just moments ago. So, I've been wondering for a while now, but yes? Like a switch, Oscar leans towards me with a glint in his eyes. The accostor melted away and leaving a look of mischief in its wake. The way he's looking down at me sends a shiver through my spine. He had the same look when I was going to ask the first time. Does he already know what I'm going to ask? Are you into me? Wait, I mean, is your flirting real? Not to say that you're being fake. You're one of the most seared. Before I could even finish my jumbled mess of a sentence also pushes me against the wall of one of the buildings is not well more guiding, and I feel my breath getting caught in my throat. It is pinning me against the wall of one of the university buildings. The author towards me and forces me to look up as he leans over me, but I don't feel intimidated. What I do feel is immense anxiousness. The clear proximity is overwhelming my senses. The heat coming off his chest is familiar, but somehow it feels more prominent, and his natural muscular scent is overwhelming the scent of clover that he usually emits. There's no words between us, but not due to a lack of trying. There's so much I want to say, but they're all caught up in my throat. So many emotions are whirling in my head. Fear of people seeing, surprised by Oscar's accident, curiosity for what comes next. His expression is unchanged, and still they seem expectant, smirk, and in my eyes his gaze is enough to make my face flush and divert his gaze downwards. But looking down, I'm confronted with the rest of Oscar, especially now constrained and tight the shirt is on his body. The whole situation is so overwhelming. Before I can lose myself to my nerves, the author does something even more brazen. He slides himself down the wall, closing the distance until our faces are barely an inch apart. Barely a few hairs between us. There's no opportunity to even be self-conscious about the world around us anymore. Oscar's taking up all my attention. What if I was being serious? Oscar's grin spreads wider, and I can see his teeth. Their whiteness is mesmerizing, but his eyes are even more so. They lost that smug look and are dripping with that genuine earnestness. His thick tail rubs against my leg, going nowhere besides my other thigh. He's showing constraint, but the light stimulation still has my fur standing up on end like electricity is running through me. I'm not making you uncomfortable, am I? No, not yet. My breathing is heavy and my heart is racing, but there's a thrill in the way Oscar is being so forward. It doesn't help that I'm covered in his body heat and scent, forcing all my senses to focus on him. You're really cute, Wallace, real cute. His face edges ever so closer, not enough to touch, but enough that I can feel his breath on my fur. His heat blowing against my skin. I don't dislike it. I'm having fun, but I mean everything I do, at least when it comes to you. Why me? Because you're cute. That's what caught my eye. Despite my best efforts to hide it, my ears droop a little, and that makes sense, but having it be something so surface level is disheartening. At first, no need to get all mopey. You're kind, and you have a lot of potential in you. I know I can sense it. Potential for fun. I know it's in there. I see it when we laugh together. I thought you were cute when I met you, but the way we clicked is what made you keep my attention. You've only known me for a few days. Hey, I just said you're holding my attention. I'm not making any commitments here. Not my thing anyway. Not your thing? Yeah, I prefer it with no strings attached, you know? Oh, lighten up. There's nothing wrong with a bit of fun, right? No, I was just not sure if I'm ready for that. He chuckles as if I just said something truly amusing, but his eyes never leave mine. They're observing me, but it doesn't feel objectifying, but more like he can't take his eyes off me, and it steals my breath away. You really are something. That's what makes you cute. He pulls away with just a little warning as he had given me when he shoved me against the wall, leaving me near panting with my back against the wall. The rush of cool air against my face is jarring, but it's also soothing, like the rush of a cold shower. As much as it's relieving to not have Oscar over me, there's a part of me that wishes he stayed, and an even darker part that wishes he went further, but I forced that down. I'm not ready for something like that. He rolls his shoulder like he'd been putting tremendous strain, leaning down to my height. More likely he's just trying to flex his muscles to get my attention. It's not working. It's always there, huh? The offer. If you ever want to go further, you just have to ask or let me know in some way. If you're too nervous to say, for sex? Yeah, obviously. Though if you just want a cuddle, I think you'd be an adorable little spoon. Can't promise that won't lead to something though. Why, I'll think about it. Just don't get so wrapped up in your head, man. Just have fun. You're in college. It's not that I don't want to have fun. It's just nervous and a little scared. But I could never say that out loud. Come on, I do still want to have that pool party. And just like that, we're back to rocking again like it never happened. Also, the ability to keep everything natural is a blessing. I feel like this would be so awkward with anyone else. There's one thing he mentioned that I'm curious about. He said it was serious when it comes to me, so does that mean you're not into others? For the most part, Lee's too serious. Can't even joke with him. Lily's not my type. Still be great to drink with though. And Lucas? He's cute, but he's a bit too aggressive. You're much cuter, and you seem to enjoy the attention I give you. That's a lot hotter than you might think. The other guy looks like he could use a rough night, though. I want to ask him what he means when he says that, a rough night, but I have a pretty good idea. At least I think I know. Maybe it's better I didn't know. In the midst of the others, there's one more thing I want to bring up. You and Lee don't get along well, do you? We don't? He sounds genuinely surprised, like it's the first time he's getting any indication that Lee might not like him, and that leaves me feeling even more confused. He sounds genuinely surprised, like it's the first time he's getting any indication that Lee might not like him, and that leaves me feeling even more confused. He's constantly scolding you. Anytime you two are together, he always ends up telling you off. I think that's just when it comes to you. He's a little protective. He'd probably get that way if I flirted with Grumpy Pants a lot too. We're both real innocent, so he thinks I'm trying to use that to sleep with you guys. I thought you were trying to sleep with me. I never said he was wrong, but I'm not some creep who's just looking for naive guys to take advantage of. You two just happen to be cute. Can't fault a guy for enjoying two cuties when he's presented with them. Still doesn't seem like he likes you. I call on him. Just like how I knew you were gonna make friends. There's so much confidence in his words, like it's a certainty, not just a possibility. There's never any doubt with what he says, and it's hard to not want to believe him. The only time I've truly seen Oscar without his composure was when I asked about the necklace. I'm still curious about it, but he respects my space, so I should respect him as well. He truly is an enigma, while he clearly focused on me. I'm flattered that someone of Oscar's, well, everything, is even slightly interested in me. We start walking again, as a sense of pride wells in my chest. Everything feels like a breeze when I'm with him, like I can do anything. We enter the large pool area of the gym. I'm surprised by the sheer size of it. It looks to be over 20 yards in length, and it has 10 lanes. The place is surprisingly full. I didn't know swimming was so popular. Beautiful, isn't it? It's huge. You haven't seen big. You look at Oscar with a suspicious glare, but he just replies with a sheepish grin, walking several feet alongside the pool towards the changing rooms before clarifying himself. I'm referring to Olympic-sized pools. They're 50 yards. This is only 25. That still seems huge. He has a lot of lanes. The swim team here is super intense. It's the only reason the school took me and why I accepted. You're here for swimming? Yeah, I'm here on a swim team scholarship. Used to swim on my high school aquatics team, and they reached out to me in my final year. Pretty cool, right? Is it a good scholarship? It's good. Swimming scholarships are really complicated. Don't worry about the details. Maybe I'll explain it to you later. That's kind of terrifying. I barely made it into the school as it is, let alone get any kind of decent scholarship. I was just lucky my parents had some money to spare. There's a noticeable coolness seeping into my voice, which I'm sure Oscar picks up instantly. He's always been more perceptive than he lets on, but he doesn't say anything, just waiting for me to continue. That's something I don't want to think about right now, so I changed the subject back to swimming instead. I didn't know you took swimming this seriously. I don't really. I take swimming real seriously. Don't get me wrong, but I don't care much for the team. Just seems like a good fit, you know? That makes a lot of sense. Oscar never struck me as a type who'd be seriously into something like competitive sports. He has the body of an athlete, though. I would have guessed football over swimming. My turn to ask some questions. Do you got anything you do? Something I do? A hobby or something, you know? Something you do in your free time. Not really. I read sometimes, but I mostly just play games and watch videos. No sports? No, I did baseball when I was younger, not so much anymore. Good thing I brought you, then. Might find something you like, even if it's just watching. But if you're gonna watch, you better watch me. It's strange, his comments and wink in my direction somehow doesn't make me nervous anymore. It's as if knowing that is actually flirting with me is freeing. Come on, let's hurry up and change. All the smells making me want to dive right in, and I'd do it if these weren't my good clothes. He grabs my hand and tugs me towards the changing rooms hastily. Despite the hastiness, he's not pussy, always giving me time to get my bearings. It's friendly, playful, and just extremely Oscar. I wonder that's his intention. Abruptly, Oscar stops in place, and I'm worried I'm going to trip or run into him, but his tail presses against my stomach, assisting me in slowing my momentum. Following his gaze, I'm able to find the source of the interruption. Lifting himself out of the pool is a lion wearing only a pair of white speedos, his eyes focused solely on Oscar. That's not what catches my eye. The most prominent feature of the lion is his mane. It's cut and groomed to be much shorter, and it flows towards the back of his head, giving him a sleek, handsome look. After fully emerging from the pool, he doesn't waste any time getting over to us, padding over to us with more energy in his step than anyone I've ever seen, even Oscar. As soon as he spots me, though, his previous gleeful smile morphs into a surprised stare. It's like his entire disposition changes, going from relaxed and cheerful to cautious and shocked at just the sight of me. The change is so stark. It's a cold winter's night and a scorching summer's day. If I didn't know any better, I'd think this was a completely different person than the guy who just climbed out of the pool. Oscar doesn't have any intentions of letting the attention get to him, and he's already walking towards the other boy. The feline might be taller than me, but he's still completely dwarfed by the giant otter. Selwyn, getting some training in your eye? At the sound of his name, he visibly relaxes and a smile returns to his face. There's still tension coming from him, but it's nowhere near as bad as moments prior. The two are bumping fists with each other before Oscar puts the lion in a headlock. The two of them struggle for a bit until the feline is able to escape his grip, both of them laughing up a storm. Without skipping a beat, Oscar reaches over and pulls me towards him, nearly smacking me against him. Thankfully, I'm able to catch myself before I accidentally knock all of us into the pool. Oops, sorry, man. Forget how tiny you are. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Flashing my own smile towards us, Oscar's grin only glows brighter, looking like a sun blazing bright in the sky. Even in this place of constant motion and noise, he's able to demand our attention on him. I can feel the lion's eyes on me, barely able to meet my own as he peeks around Oscar's massive chest. There's no hostility in them. It's as if he's trying to figure out if I'm a danger to him or not. Once again, completely ignoring any kind of tension, Oscar saws the two of us closer together before judgment between us. Selwyn, this is Wallace. And Wallace, this is Selwyn. I think his name's actually Lloyd, but the boys just call him Selwyn. I know you dudes will get along great. After neither of us make any moves to try and follow up on his introduction, he pats my back to get my attention. He nods his head encouragingly towards Selwyn, expecting me to make the first move. Hey Selwyn, I'm a freshman. I've never really been around this area before. It's really nice. Reaching my hand out, I focus on making sure I come across as unthreatening as possible, which isn't hard considering my small stature and underwhelming demeanor. Looking over the feline, I'm able to see he's a few inches taller than me, but his slim frame catches my attention. He's thinner than me, but has prominent toned muscle pulsing through his fur as though there isn't an ounce of fat on his body. Selwyn's eyes only flicker towards my hand for a moment before he's reaching over and taking it with surprisingly little hesitation. His grip is firm, and his stake shows a hidden strength beneath his lithe frame. Waiting for an introduction of himself, there's nothing but poignant silence from the line. As he pulls his hand away, it doesn't look like he plans to say anything in return. He looks considerably more comfortable than before. He's even smiling, an expression that makes his handsome face look closer to a model's than a swimmer's. His overall demeanor looks less nervous, too, as he places his hands behind his back, allowing anyone to more easily see the rest of his body. It's so different from how shy he looked just moments ago. After a few more seconds of silence, Selwyn's eyes change from a soft, happy warmth to a pleading gaze in Austin's direction, like he's expecting him to do something about this awkward silence. Austin's eyes widen as he comes to realization and steps towards Selwyn, pulling the lion against his hips before reaching over and dragging me back into place against his other one. A brief surge of embarrassment flushes through, and I can't help but look around the pool to see if anyone's watching the very public display of affection. My searching is interrupted by the feeling of someone grabbing my hand. It's a timid touch, as if it both wants to be there, but it's too scared it might break something, a touch distinct from Oscar's. Following it back to its owner, I find Selwyn looking towards me with a reassuring smile. His eyebrows are pressed as though he's still wary of me, but I don't think he wants me to feel uncomfortable. I'm not able to dwell on it before Oscar's booming voice causes his chest to rumble, sending vibrations through my body, running down my spine to the end of my tail. It's like our own little private earthquake. Sorry, should have mentioned this earlier, but Selwyn here can't talk. He has selective mutism. He's not being rude or anything. In fact, I think he likes you quite a bit. Little dude never warms up to someone this fast. Selective mutism? Selwyn gives an enthusiastic nod before tugging at Oscar's shirt, obviously asking the author to explain further. The author chuckles and gives a lion a playful nudge on the shoulder before obliging. It's when you can only talk in certain situations, typically only to some people. I've only ever seen Selwyn whisper into people's ears, and there's not many people he does it for. I'm the only person on the swimming team he talks to, so he often hangs around me. But I think he actually does it because he knows I get him some action at most parties. He says the final part with a waggle of his eyebrows and gives his friend herself a big smile across the feline's face before he elbows Oscar in the stomach, pulling away from the author with mock annoyance that leads to both of them laughing. Looking back towards me, he gives me a sympathetic smile and wings his hand together. It feels like he's apologized for making things uncomfortable, reminding me of how Lucas looks when he hurts someone's feelings. It feels like a knife stabbing through my chest, and I'm unable to stop myself from shaking my head, vehemently protesting. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sorry for it, I tried to think of what to apologize for, only to realize there isn't really much I could have done without prior knowledge, so I'm only able to drift off into an awkward silence. Selwyn gestured towards me, but his eyes were on Oscar, It looks like he's trying to communicate something to the otter, which has to ponder for a couple of seconds before realizing what is being asked. Oh, Wallace is from my media class. We're in a group together. He's a cool guy. So I take him here. For some reason, that causes Selwyn's eyes to widen and his entire expression to shift to one of complete and utter shock, like this is an apocalyptic reveal. Turning his attention back on me, Selwyn scans me with his eyes as if trying to figure something out. I don't think he finds what he's looking for as he shakes his head before walking over to Oscar, tugging at his shirt. This has to be an agreed upon signal between the two of them because there's not a mention of hesitation as Oscar squats down to give Selwyn access to his ear, to which Selwyn whispers something that was starting even Lucas's sensitive ears wouldn't be able to pick up. Without being able to hear him, I'm left standing next to the pool, trying not to look out of place. Eventually, Oscar's smile widens, and I'm given some insight to his conversation as he chuckles out a response. Yeah, well, he's a good guy. That causes Selwyn to stop and look towards me again. There's a brief hesitation before he returns to whisper to Oscar like he's sharing the biggest secret in the world. It's only for a moment, but I swear I can see the insides of Selwyn's ears grow wetter. Finally, the two of them pull away from each other. Oscar stands back to his full height with a stretch, reminding me of just how much he towers over the two of us. Something about the otter looks different than moments ago, more mischievous than his usual playfulness, and that makes a nervous shudder run down my spine. He wanted me to tell you that you're really cute and that pink shirt looks super hot on you. There's a beat before what he says registers. His eyes light up as he sees something on my face which I can only assume is my cheeks and ears reddening beyond belief. He looks like a child walking into a candy shop for the first time. He must be twisting whatever Selwyn said to him. He must be. I look towards Selwyn and he's got a bashful expression on his face. That small blushing I swore I caught a glimpse of earlier has completely flooded his ears and nodding his head with a grin. But what? He's right, man. You do look damn good in that shirt. There's no way. What are the odds that no one but two hot athletic guys would find someone like me worth any of their attention? Oscar, there's no way he said that. He's so sorry. That causes a hearty laugh to explode from Oscar's burly chest. Even Selwyn snickers at the reaction. It's such a different tone than what I've seen from the lion so far. It's unreal. He's not sighing. I've never seen someone hit on girls the way this guy does. You want to see someone who knows how to get into a chick's pants? Watch this guy whenever we get out. But look at him. He's so timid. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about you as if you're not there. Selwyn doesn't look offended at all. Waving off the assertion, he looks like he's just enjoying the company, and I don't know if that's just Oscar's presence or both of us. He's just a bit nervous about strangers. Trust me, this guy is a flirty ball of energy. Aren't parties social situations with a bunch of strangers? Yeah, and chicks find a timid act cute, especially when they find out he can't talk as messed as that sounds. It looks like he's trying to work his magic on you, though. Can't say I blame him. Before I can explode from the hungry expression on Oscar's face, Selwyn tugs at the otter's shirt, again and gestures behind him towards an open door close by. Yeah, we'll go get changed and catch you in the pool. Just give us a sec. I didn't want to mention this before, Oscar, but I don't have anything to swim in. So you decided to come with me to the pool anyway? Not that I'm complaining, but that doesn't sound too bright. I just wanted to hang out with you. You're always so full of energy and know how to cheer me up. Okay. You can just watch. I'll put on a good show for you. A blush rose up in Oscar's ears and peeked lightly through his fur. An expression so rare from him that I'm left speechless. He doesn't seem like the type to get bashful at all, let alone and a compliment. Suddenly, there's a motion out of the corner of my eye as I turn my head to see what it is. Selwyn's bouncing up and down in places silently, his arms waving sporadically, trying to get my attention. Yes, Selwyn? He points towards his Speedo and then lifts up two fingers. There's a snapping sound as he pulls on them for dramatic effect. The cracking sound unconsciously catches my attention, and I end up staring down at the way his torso curves towards his crotch area. I'm able to bring my eyes back up to his face before anyone notices, except for Selwyn, who is looking towards me with a look of smug satisfaction, like he just won his first place in the latest swim competition. Now I see what Oscar means by him not being inside. He gets comfortable fast, though I think he's still worried about me from the way he keeps some distance between us. I hope I'm not making him uncomfortable. Nice, what about those men? Where's the key? The lion shakes his head and points towards the bleachers behind Oscar, sitting on the bottom row in a black gym bag with the cute bouncing lion logo that I remember seeing on a commercial recently. Wait, can we slow down a sec? The thought of wearing something like a Speedo is always pretty embarrassing, but there's something even more pressing at hand that can't just be ignored. Will it even fit me? You're a bit taller than me. Severin puts his hands closer together in front of my waist as if he's about to clap. Just when that, his waist is thinner than my own. Is that how that works? I don't think that's. It'll be fine, man. Don't sweat about it. Let's head in. Oscar wraps an arm around my shoulder again and dangles a pair of pink Speedos in front of my face, nearly bumping the stretchy fabric against my nose. Pink? And Susu, that shirt looks real cute on you. And I know this will look even better. Seven gives an excited nod and gives the two of us a thumbs up. His encouragement completely missing the point and only causing my burning hot embarrassment to flare harder. Before I even have a chance to reply to either of them, Oscar pulls me towards the changing room and Seven dives back into the pool. Is this really happening? There's no way. Everything's moving so fast, but despite my better judgment, I'm actually having fun. Is that okay? Am I allowed to have fun here? Dark thoughts bang at the edge of my mind, but I push them down, focusing on the calming proximity to Oscar and the soothing heat coming off him. It's surprisingly easy to ignore them when he's around. The empty changing room is a completely different atmosphere than the constant ambience of the pool area and the gym it shares the building with. The only sound I can hear is the splashing of showers. The only other occupant of the changing room that's not currently using a shower, an older-looking tiger, passes by the two of us to leave as we enter. Without thinking, I quickly hide the Speedo behind my back. Also lets out a loud laugh, drawing the attention of the tiger. Gives us a confused look. Thankfully, he doesn't care enough to stop and turns into the pool area. You're such a dork. You're in a pool. No one's going to think you're weird for wearing a Speedo. It's just weird. I've never worn anything like this before. Let's get changed, please. You're the boss. Wasting my way over to a bench against the wall, I nearly slipped on the wet floor, but I'm able to steady myself on the wall, avoiding what would have been an awkward accident at minimum. I got to calm my nerves. I haven't really gotten changed with someone else since Marcus took me to Splashland for my 12th birthday. I always waited until everyone left in high school. Even now, I'm just staring directly at the corner between a locker and the wall. Glancing nervously over at Oscar, I see he's already got his shirt off and is beginning to undo his pants. This is the first time I'm getting a full look at Oscar's upper body. He's shown off a lot, but I never see the full thing. Though he got pretty close to showing most of it off in the library. Subtlety has never been one of my strongest areas. He meets my eyes and gives me a wink as he tosses his shirt onto the bench next to him. I don't mind giving it so, but I'm getting some real mixed signals here. I know he's only teasing me, but I can't stop the twinge of guilt that I might be potentially leading him on. Am I leading him on? Is there really no chance we might? That thought is pushed out of my head just as quickly as it came as Austin begins to pull his pants down, forcing me to turn away to face the wall unless I see something there's no unseeing, and can practically feel my eyes on my neck. I practically feel his eyes on my neck, and that obnoxious, handsome smile spread across his face. Things will get more awkward if he finishes, and I haven't even started. Mustering up my courage, I grab my shirt and castle. Before I can even get it over my head, a booming voice cascades off the walls from the entrance. The deep tones pierces down to my bones, reminding me of a Gruffalo Lee. Standing in the doorway is a large crocodile. The blue and white vest and shorts he's wearing are just a little too snug to be the right size. It looks like a sports team uniform. Those must be Everwinter's colors. He looks like he's around mid to late 30s with a tall and wide body. At first glance, he looked to have a chubby stomach, but on close inspection, there's definitely some muscles, especially around his tree trunk arms. Remembering what the two of us were just doing, I'm relieved to find he hasn't taken his shorts off yet. It's short-lived as I see also not wearing his usual variety of gleeful smiles. Instead, his expression is chillingly neutral. Stomping over towards the even taller otter, the crocodile only has to tilt his head up slightly to maintain eye contact. Tension rises between the two, and the atmosphere becomes very uncomfortable. What do you think you're doing? I'm going to swim. What does it look like? Never hurts to get more practice right in, coach. Despite the lackadaisical words, Oscar's face doesn't portray any of the fun or excitable personality he usually has. The crocodile, who looks to be the coach of the swim team, doesn't seem fazed by the way Oscar is acting. In fact, he doesn't look to be reacting at all other than. In fact, he doesn't look to be reacting at all other than letting out an agitated huff. What did I tell you about overworking yourself, Castle? I'm just going for a swim. I'm not overworking myself. Don't think I don't know when you come in and out of here. You're here every morning and afternoon. You're putting too much stress on your body. It's fine, I can handle it. There's noticeable irritation in Oscar's voice. The tense muscles on his arm and neck shows me that he's getting angrier. The sight of someone like Oscar being so viciously upset is, well, upsetting. Even Oscar's casual way of talking has disappeared, leaving only animosity to fill in that void. I'm not sure exactly what to do, so I pick up my bag and move close to Oscar's side, hoping that my presence might help in some way. I'm able to see outside the locker room now. Severance leaning on the edge of the pool, staring at us with a worried expression on his face. Just how much does this happen for someone to already be concerned? It's not just about whether you can handle it. Look at this. The reptile grabs Oscar's arm, his grip unmistakably firm. Despite the difference in their size and musculature, Oscar's unable to get his arm out of the crocodile's grasp. He flexed the author's bicep, causing it to bulge with defined muscle that's likely been honed over long sessions. Normally, it's something that one would be proud of, but the sour look on both of their faces let me know this is a good sign. You already built up way too much muscle. You are already bigger than most people we take in, but getting more is a bad sign, Castle. I told you already. It's fine. I can handle it. My times are still great for now, but more muscle mass means your speed is going to take a hit. Why don't you listen? Why don't you just listen? It's not just me who notices, the other teammates are beginning to worry and complain too. Coach, my times won't slow. Oscar's excuses are cut off by the cold snaking his arm, causing the author to lose his balance and nearly smack his head against the reptile. Their faces are barely inches apart. Even though the crocodile is smaller, his presence is dominating Oscar's completely. Listen here. I don't care about your ego or whatever it is that's making you want to do this so badly, but it stops now. We took a big risk on you, Castle. Don't fuck this up again. I don't care how good your grades are. If you fuck up this season, it's on your ass. The crocodile pulls away from Oscar, releasing his grip on his arm in the process, but Oscar makes no attempt to retort or respond. He only adjusts his shoulder while maintaining his stare so cold that it could snuff out the sun. Get over whatever this obsession you have with swimming until you destroy your body. I understand the circumstances around. The older man cuts himself off and glances over at me before his gaze softens, sympathy seeping into his voice. It makes a stark contrast sound compared to the firm, not taking set tone he wore. Whatever happened before, but you need to stop this. You're putting your team in your place on at risk. No more multiple swims unless they're short. Did I make myself clear? Also looks like he's about to break his teeth with how hard he's gritted them. His hands clenched tight enough to dig into his palms if his claws weren't clipped so short. It reminds me of Lucas when he blew his fuse in the library. Clear enough. The intense atmosphere dissipated the thick scent of Oscar Westerners in my nose. He must be sweating pretty intensely from how much he's been riled up. It's strong enough to burn even my insensitive nose. I can't see our practice tomorrow. It's just basic drills and some endurance training. Don't swim that morning again. The conversation over, Oscar grabs his stuff and quickly stomps out the door. I swear I can see tears in his eyes and his shoulder shaking, but he leaves before I can be certain. I'm alone with the crocodile, whose attention is now on me. His golden eyes roll over me as he sizes me up. It causes my breath to snag in my throat until his aggressiveness melts away to a more relaxed composure. You must be a friend of his. I'm close amazed. Don't think I'm being harsh on him. He's overworking himself. I catch him here in the mornings doing hours of training. Then I catch him here in the afternoons too, doing the same thing. He's gonna destroy himself. With that, he walks out of the room, leaving me no room to respond and finally able to release the building tension in my throat. That man is terrifying, but I don't think he's wrong. That amount of swimming sounds almost obsessive. I follow behind him, keeping a brisk pace as I relentlessly scan every corner of the pool for any sign of Oscar, but there's not even a trace of him left in the giant room. He must have already left. I'm about to resign myself into walking home when I notice Selwyn near the entrance, looking through the full-length window on the exit doors like someone trying to work up the nerve to do something. Walking over to him, I'm able to see that he is wringing his hands and shifting his weight between his feet. He's staring out the window with focused eyes, so much so that he doesn't even notice me standing right next to him. Hey, you okay? He jumps and nearly smacks his head against the glass before spinning around, his panic-filled wide eyes sitting as a wave of guilt through me. His disposition is guarded like when I first met him, unsure what to make of this new weasel that he can't even say anything to. I can't imagine what it must be like to go through what he does. There's a beat where he just blinks and stares until he recognizes me and relaxes. He still looks guarded as if he's unsure how he should act in this situation, but he still gives me a warm smile nonetheless. If Oscar's smile are like the sun, bright and all-consuming, then Selwyn's are like the moon, full of mysticism and charm. It must have shone on my face because Selwyn's expression seems to one of concern. I'm about to try and alleviate his worry when he gestures towards the door. Out through the window, I see Oscar standing just outside the building, leaning against a tree with beautiful autumn leaves. He's looking away, but I don't need to see his face to feel the energy coming from him. He needs someone right now, and every neuron in my brain, every cell in my body, every fiber on my body is screaming for me to go outside and do whatever it takes to help because someone needs help. because someone needs me. But I push those feelings down. I can't let my own desire to help cloud what Oscar needs right now. He needs someone he trusts and can confide in, not someone he barely knows. You should probably go talk to him. I think he needs someone. Someone doesn't hesitate, shaking his head firmly before immediately following it up by gesturing towards me, his accent being so firm that I'm left more stunned at his attitude than his request. But you've known him much longer. I've only known him a few days. It should be you. The second intensifies and he moves towards me. He grabs and shoves me towards the door and even opens it with a single ounce of hesitation. I swear he's enjoying this too. Seven, wait. He doesn't, and I should keep resisting, but if he's giving me an opportunity to try and help, I want to take it. Not that I'm given much choice as I'm forced to step onto the concrete outside of a clumsy gate. Not that I'm standing outside, right next to another building with students flowing out and walking by. I'm now very aware of the pink Speedos I'm still holding in my hands. Shoving the Speedos towards the line, I can feel my ears burning up and I internally curse whatever cruel God gave me white fur. He doesn't take them, though, instead just giving me a smile before rigging and closing the door in my face. I'm left stunned as the door clicks into place and I can see Seven walking away towards the changing rooms, giving me a little thumbs up as he does. I remember Oscar reciting Seven's flirting, and now I'm almost certain it had been Seven's own words. Okay, he's definitely not the cute, innocent guy I thought. Despite it all, I can't stop a smile from creeping onto my face. It's good that Oscar has friends that care that much about him, and who knows, maybe we'll be friends too. But I shake off the distraction and focus on why I'm out here, turning around to the same image that I saw out the window moments ago. Directly outside the entrance to the building is Oscar, leaning his forearm against the same tree with a distant look in his eyes, unfocused and lost as it stares into the infinite depths of the sky. It's an expression I haven't seen before. I've been getting a lot of those today, but right now, at this moment, he looks serene and raw. I've never seen him look so open. I always found Oscar to be a sincere person, and I still believe that, but everyone hides behind some mask. I know I do, but in this single snapshot of life, I feel like I can see right into Oscar's deepest areas of his soul. He's still lost in his own head. He doesn't even react to me approaching. Even now, at his most revealing, I still don't know what's going on in his head, but I can feel the melancholy dripping off every strand of fur. Sorry things didn't go your way. Oscar turns to me with a big smile, and switch so sudden that it startles me into taking a step back. Unlike his other smiles, this one feels fake, overwhelming, fake, something so incredibly unlike his usual sincerity. What? Nah, it's fine, man. No need to stress about it. We can go together another time anyway. Just gotta make sure I don't go that morning. The chuckle he gives afterwards is hollow, a cell of his usual enthusiasm, and it's enough to feel unsettling. There's something so incredibly off about the way he's acted that it causes a pit to form my stomach. Oscar, are you okay? You really blew up in there. Oh yeah? Don't worry about it. Just stressed out, you know? I'm already over it. Don't want to dwell on that kind of stuff. A little bit of sadness bleeds into his smile. That sincerity is slowly running back into it. His eyes are looking at me. That usual beautiful simmer is clouded by something. That you look like they're begging me to not push it. Was hoping we could swim, though thought if we took a dip, then maybe you'd feel better. As he tilts his focus back to me, that sad shadow of a smile fades to one of care and sympathy. That dark glint in his eyes vanishes like it never existed. I shouldn't pry into his life, not this early. He has problems, just like everyone else. I want to help him, but I don't know if we're close enough for that. Not yet, anyway. There's a Wilson area, a single powerful thought a temptation fueled by an overwhelming and crippling desire to help, a way for us to get closer and maybe make Oscar feel better. Would you want to? Wallace, man, you don't have to have petty sex with me. How do you? I want you to try it when you want to, not because you want to make me feel better, but no buts, okay? Also pulls me into a warm one-arm hug, thumping me against his sternum as he ruffles up my head. Even though I'm being crushed against him, I can still feel him. I can still hear him chuckling above me. It's a real, genuine chuckle. I want your first time to be fun, not because you wanted someone to not be sad or not sad anyway. I'm already far over it. I'll climb the next mountain. After turning my hair into more of a mess than the average public toilet, he pushes me away, and I nearly stumble from the force. With how gentle he is, it's easy to forget that Oscar's rather jacked. He didn't answer my question. Oh, I'm feeling better. A lot of distractions happen. Yeah, I bet. I mean, you have a walking distraction right now. That single stupid joke is enough to bring a smile to my face because that's so utterly awesome, and I didn't realize how much I miss him being like this. I don't know what caused his better mood, but I hope he's actually okay. Now, I don't really have much else planned. It's getting close to 4:30, though. Guess we wasted a lot of time. Do you want to hang out longer, or do you want to head home? I think I'm feeling better. I'll still be fine. I'll probably avoid the diary tonight, though. I'm still pretty exhausted. Now, I don't really have much else planned. It's getting close to 4:30, though. Guess we wasted a lot of time. Do you want to hang longer, or do you want to head home? I think I'm feeling better. I'll still be fine. I'll probably avoid the diary tonight, though. I'm still pretty exhausted. Unless you want to trip out again. Seems like a pretty crazy time. Yeah, one I'd rather not repeat. If you do, just think about me and I'll come save you. It's just a super joke, but it fills me with a surprising amount of reassurance and security. It might be the way he says that with complete and utter sincerity, or the fact that his body is thicker than the tree trunk next to him, but either way, it helps. Promise? Of course, I crashed through the wall and save you. You wind my back as we swim to safety. You better. Even though it was only jokes, I feel if I did have a nightmare tonight, that Oscar would come save me, or at least I hope he would. He doesn't seem like the type to go back on his promises, though. Let's get you back then. Plus, I get to find out where you live. I don't think you need to know that. Never know. I might want to take you out to dinner. Need to pick you up. He says that with a faceless tone, but that doesn't stop the dubious stare that I give him. He was hiding his flirting behind jokes after all. Why would this be any different? As a friend, that's causing my suspicions to intensify, but he just laughs it off. He pokes my nose and I almost lose my composure to a giggle, but I barely managed to hold strong. Unless he wanted to go further, I knew it. What can I say? I know what I want. At least now. You know I am into you, so flirting is a bit more meaningful now. I ignore him and start walking home, hoping that he doesn't catch my smile as the heat returns to my cheeks and ears. I don't think I've hidden them well for Oscar because he follows closely behind with a smug aura of satisfaction. So we got to see a new character, Selwyn, and as Oscar said, he has selective mutism. So he whispered to Oscar's ear, so he's perfectly capable of speech, but he has this disorder which causes him not to speak. Like if there's people that he doesn't know or not comfortable with, he won't speak. I mean, maybe not so much won't speak, but he just can't speak. It's kind of like a social anxiety disorder, excuse me. It's like a social anxiety disorder. Like, kind of like that. You're not if you're anxious to somebody, if somebody you meet, if you're meeting them for the first time and you're not comfortable with them, then you won't speak. You only speak with those that you're comfortable with or familiar with. So I actually learned that a little bit in college myself. And it could be inherited. Could be, but it's kind of like because in the story just now, it mentions that Selwyn was kind of standoffish from Wallace. Like he kind of was a little fearful towards Wallace and wanted to keep his distance. So that was part of his selective mutism. Like you're not comfortable around new people. Like you want to keep your distance. So over time, he did start to get more comfortable with Wallace, but he's still kind of a little fearful or a little cautious about Wallace. Even though there's nothing to fear from Wallace, there's nothing for him to be cautious about with Wallace, but his disorder causes him to be like that. So I kind of like Selwyn. I mean, he's not all that innocent. Like he does get kind of pervert. Like kind of like a perv, or maybe not perv, but like he does like getting flirty. So yeah, once he gets more comfortable with you, he becomes like this flirty person. Can't say flirty. I think if he didn't have that disorder, he would have been more like that with Wallace. Kind of like Oscar is. Like he'd be flirty with him, but because of that disorder, he's kind of cautious. So we'll continue with Oscar on Violent Memoir next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye. So we got to see a new character, Selwyn. And as Oscar said, he has selective mutism. So he whispered to Oscar's ear, so he's perfectly capable of speech, but he has this disorder which causes him not to speak. Like if there's people that he doesn't know or not comfortable with, he won't speak. I mean, maybe not so much won't speak, but he just can't speak. It's kind of like a social anxiety disorder. Excuse me. It's like a social anxiety disorder, like kind of like that. You're not if you're anxious to somebody, if somebody you meet, if you're meeting them for the first time and you're not comfortable with them, then you won't speak. You only speak with those that you're comfortable with or familiar with. So I actually learned that a little bit in college myself. And it could be inherited. Could be, but it's kind of like because in the story just now, it mentions that Selwyn was kind of standoffish from Wallace. Like he kind of was a little fearful towards Wallace and wanted to keep his distance. So that was part of his selective mutism. Like you're not comfortable around new people. Like you want to keep your distance. So over time, he did start to get more comfortable with Wallace, but he's still kind of a little fearful or a little cautious about Wallace. Even though there's nothing to fear for Wallace, there's nothing for him to be cautious about with Wallace, but his disorder causes him to be like that. So I kind of like Selwyn. I mean, he's not all that innocent. Like, he does get kind of, pervert. Like, kind of like a perv, or maybe not perv, but like, he does like getting flirty. So yeah, once he gets more comfortable with you, he becomes like this flirty person. Can't say flirty. I think if he didn't have that disorder, he would have been more like that with Wallace, kind of like Oscar is. Like, he'd be flirty with him, but because of that disorder, he's kind of cautious. So we'll continue with Oscar on Violent Memoir next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.